Hey, Shalom is Brother Yasha Mazakar from the Israelite Report, IsraeliteReport.com. Upon my watch, all praises are definitely due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to all the brothers spread across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and sincerity. Those that truly believe and want to get the hell up out of here. I want to start off in Romans 15:4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." And that hope is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And it's important to understand that these scriptures are faithful and true. And I say that all the time because we're in a time of doubt. And right now, people want to believe in everything except the word of the Lord. And they're actively, at this moment, trying to not only debunk the Bible, but get rid of the scriptures. And they want, AI to take over and rewrite the scriptures and everything. But you need to have this truth in your heart and your spirit and your mind, because that's your hope. Without this, we have nothing. Because what this devil is about to do, if we don't have this truth and we don't believe in this truth, we have nothing. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. And so we learn from the mistakes of our forefathers, because really we are our forefathers. We learn from the mistakes and the things they got right. But our hope is in the Mashiach Yahweh Shai, who gave his life on the cross. He was humiliated, beaten, spit on, slapped around, but he gave his life for Israel. Mainly the elect in this time that we're in right now, but ultimately all of Israel will be saved, will be in the kingdom. And we will rule in righteousness. And that's our hope. Esau's plan is to disrupt that. And I bring this out all the time, and I try to, explain it the best that I can, that the way this devil thinks, he actually believes that he can upset prophecy. He can take his knowledge that he was given, by the Most High, his blessing, the sword, and that technology is a part of his sword, by the way. He thinks he can use that to take down not only the children of Israel, but he can actually defeat the Lord. So this is what we're up against. It's going to take divine intervention, a higher power to deliver us from this. That's our only hope. I want to get this in Hebrews 12:16. It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears." And there is no more profane person than Esau, Edom. The Edomites themselves, dog, dick, licking. I want to use the F word, FAG, right? Sodomites, weirdos, and pedos. There's no more profane person than Esau, Edom. There's nothing more disgusting and vile, especially the elites of Esau, Edom. Nicki Minaj, she posted this some days ago. This is what she writes. As they do their ritual tonight, God Almighty will reveal himself to them. The ritual will backfire on them. God will not be mocked. Blessed is the mighty name of, which she Jesus, Christ. Every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned and put to shame. Watch. So Nicki Minaj has linked herself with the Trump administration, and she's now, I don't know, conservative Christian. But she's just a nigger to them. She's a useful nigger at the moment, twerking, fake ass having nigger. That's all she is. BBL nigger. But she danced her nigger ass all the way over to the Trump administration, and now she wants to be a so-called truther and reveal the secrets of the elites, talking about satanic rituals, which she has been a part of. And where did she learn that from? She learned that from the elites of Esau, or you should say the lesser luminaries. That's where she learned it from. But now she's trying to, say she believes in Jesus or whatever. Okay, that's cool. But with the Epstein files, it's been brought out. More and more of Esau's dirty little secrets have been revealed. It was more to the Epstein files than just raping little girls. There was also child sacrifice, cannibalism, eating shit, literally eating shit. All of this wickedness, this wicked perverseness has come out on Esau, Edom. And they're all pointing the fingers at each other. Disgusting, man. And I told y'all before, when you live among these Edomites, you see all types of shit, man. And you hear shit, things that you just... Being the spook that sat behind the door, I believe that's what the movie is. You be in a room full of Edomites and they forget that you're in the room. And they say shit that you just can't fucking believe, man. The way they talk amongst themselves and the things that they talk about that they do in their private life, you would not believe it. They only act upright somewhat around us because they know that we're not with that shit. The dog humping, letting the dog lick their wife pussy and all that weird shit. That's Esau Edom, man. He's the caveman. Man, you people, boy. Let me get this. This came from High Impact Flicks. He writes this: I can't wrap my mind around the idea that all these insanely rich dudes who can live anywhere they want, do anything they want, buy anything they want, and be with virtually any gorgeous woman who would throw themselves at them at any time, would choose to do perverted things to kids. What am I missing here? Well, he doesn't understand why Esau is the way that he is. It's because the soul that is lifted up in him is not upright, or it's not just. I quoted it wrong. I'm quoting Habakkuk, 2nd chapter. But someone replied this: if you're not willing to accept that there is a spiritual side of this, you will never understand. And see, that's the point. If you're not willing to accept that there is a spiritual side of this, the Lord made him that way. That's why, you know, you got these Israelites that are trying to save Esau. You're out your damn mind. You're going against the Lord. At least you find yourself fighting against the Most High. That's what you're doing. The elites of Esau has been found out, but even the lower level Edomites are weird. And people need to know that. Let me get Habakkuk 2 and 4, because I messed it up earlier. It says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And there's nothing upright about Esau, to the point where other Edomites are like, damn, I know I'm weird, but you guys are even weirder. Yeah, the elites of Esau are so knee deep into the occult practices that they believe they're talking to Satan directly. I forget which satanic group or organization it is, but it's one of them. They have a round table, and they leave one seat open for Satan. They actually believe in this. Ephesians 6 and 12. Ephesians 6 and 12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Again, these scriptures get quoted all the time. But this is what we're up against. A demonic, satanic, occult-driven ruling class with technology on their side. They're here to do the will of Satan. The thing is, the trick bag is that Satan has to do the will of the Heavenly Father. That's the trick bag that they're in. And we're proclaiming that they're going to fall. They're going to fail. They will not be successful in their mission. All right, but we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. This is deeper, man. And Esau is really going to unleash hell. All this technology that he has, he's looking to tap into your brain, make you think you're crazy, try to give you some wild thoughts, to get you to. You got to remember, he's been using MK Ultra and all these different experiments. No telling what he did with the jab. Right? People that took the jab in 2021. Then you have that mRNA, the stuff that's in the jab is now in the food. They're spraying it in the air. Man, this devil is something else, man. I'm going to get back to the reply. It says, if you're not willing to accept that there is a spiritual side of this, you will never understand. If we are nothing but animals, it doesn't matter. Survival of the fittest. Forget religion. It's not about that. It's good versus evil. Do unto others. You know the golden rule. Don't break it. So anyway, the Christians think that they're going to be, good folk, good people, and that's how they're going to escape the judgment that's to come. The Lord has an elect and a remnant that he has chosen. I got this from End Times Headlines. It says, the biblical pattern predicted our current crises. And it says here, in tonight's live devotional, because he's a Christian patriot Edomite, in tonight's live devotional and prayer, we will show you powerful insights into the prophetic pattern found in the Old Testament that is unfolding right before our eyes, revealing that the stage is being set for the coming global order and the rise of its leader. And see, this is the thing, not just these Edomites, but Jake too. Everyone's looking for the rise of this one leader, the one leader of the New World Order or the Illuminati, what they would call the Antichrist. And they're in the trick bag because they're living in an Antichrist, anti-Messiah society right now as we speak. They keep talking about the image of the beast. The image of the beast is this New World Order system. They're looking for the Antichrist and not even realizing that they're living in the society. What they're looking for, they're living in it. I want you to think about this. You have dog dick lickers as the ruling class in the world. That, I know that sounds disgusting, but that's who's in rulership. The most foul, disgusting, wicked, perverted piece of shit that you can think of, that's who's in rulership. That's why we're sighing and crying and praying to the Lord, begging for mercy to get the hell up out of here. Think about it. If you went to apply to a job and you found out your boss or your management team were a bunch of dog dick lickers, would you sign up for that job? Hell no. And I hate to be so, but I'm just saying, man, like, you need to understand how wicked and nasty this goddamn devil is. He's disgusting, man. And then the 2/3 of our people don't make it any better. Many of them are worshiping white Jesus, which that's an abomination. They're into witchcraft, Freemasonry, sorcery. The only thing left is for this place to fall, man, to go down. Let me get this in Jeremiah 32:30. It says, for the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, saith the Lord. And they're still doing it. I can't understand why can't we rise up as a people? Why can't we rise up? Why can't we come together, unify? Unity brings forth the community. All that stupid shit. United we stand, divided we fall. Nigga, you fell a long goddamn time ago. 31st verse says, "For this city have been to me as a provocation of mine anger." All our people have done is piss the Lord off, man. Why should I stricken thee even any further? Says, "For this city have been to me as a provocation of mine anger and of my fury from the day that they built it, even unto this day, that I should remove it from before my face." I'm going to go to, let me go to the 35th verse. It says, "And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Moloch." And they're still doing this shit. They're still doing it. They're still practicing this witchcraft and sorcery. They're still sacrificing their kids. Our people are still involved in that to this day. To this very day, they're still doing this shit. These celebrities, to come up, you notice all of a sudden some nigga just pop up out of nowhere and his best friend just died. Or he lost his child. His child just got murdered. Or what's this chick, Jennifer Hudson? Her whole family got murdered. Now she's like the new Oprah Winfrey. They're still doing this shit. Jay-Z's in the Epstein files. They had to put a nigga in there. Damn well. Damn well Esau wasn't going to just let it just be them. No, they got to put a nigga somewhere. I was waiting on it, too. And said, oh, shit, here it come. There ain't no telling what Jay-Z done did. He had on a shirt that said, "Do what thou wilt," quoting Aleister Crowley. But anyway, I'll start it again. It says, "And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Moloch, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my mind, that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. And now, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, most high power, Yahweh of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say, it shall be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence." And right now, we as a people have been delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, but our people are going to the king of Babylon, pleading with the king of Babylon for mercy. They'll do anything but trust in the Lord. I've been thinking about this for some time now, and I forget to mention it when I do my recording, but the midterms are coming up this year, and the Trump administration wants to stay in power, and they want to control Congress, the House, and the Senate. And who knows? Me personally, I believe all this shit is fake. I believe it's predetermined, just like the Super Bowl. But on the other side, the flip side of this, the Trump administration wants to stay in power. So there was, this thought that was running through my mind, like, when November comes, and it's very important because I've always talked about the year 2027, not a prophecy, not, there's no Bible scripture that's going to say, the year 2027, all shit's going to hit the fan. No. But what I'm saying is that was just something that for some years now, this is going back to 2012, really, for me. For some reason, I had my eye on that year. And also you have Agenda 2030. And I've said for quite some time that uh, the elites of Esau, they want their new world order in place before 2030. I stress this all the time. Y'all know this by now. I stress this constantly. November is the midterm elections. November, that's pretty much the end of the year. You're going into 2027. So I thought about it and I said, damn, wouldn't that be about right? You know, just speaking as a man, this isn't a prophecy or nothing like that. I'm just thinking out loud, if y'all don't mind. Wouldn't that be about right, though? To kick shit off in November, you got the midterms coming up. You know, the midterms is in November. And then lo and behold, this came up. I have this clip right quick that I'm going to play. And then I'll come back and I'll talk about it. What's going on, what the Trump administration may have planned for the midterm elections in November.
We have some news right now. Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's former senior advisor, who he speaks to regularly, has confirmed what the plan will be heading for the midterm elections. He says, quote, "We're going to have ICE surround the polls. We'll never again allow an election to be stolen." He made these remarks on his War Room podcast. And well, a lot of folks may say, well, Steve Bannon isn't in the White House anymore. He doesn't have Donald Trump's ear. Folks, he has had lunch with Donald Trump regularly. He speaks with the president of the United States regularly. And often what happens in MAGA world is that someone like Steve Bannon will float an idea like stationing ICE agents at polling booths. And then it eventually will get to the White House. And then that's something that Donald Trump may repost, may parrot, may try to implement. And so they're setting the stage right now for having ICE agents, Border Patrol agents at voting locations across the country in an effort to intimidate folks from voting, and not just going after undocumented folks. I think that's the big thing here, is that even U.S. citizens are going to be intimidated by having ICE agents patrol polls, if this is what happens, because of what's happening across America, where they're demanding proof of citizenship, etc., racially profiling people, and more. Spread the word, be aware, follow for more.
So as you heard in that clip, ICE, there's a potential that ICE could be surrounding the polling stations come November. And you can expect a lot of racial profiling. And also, I've been playing clips, really clip after clip, trying to get across as best as I can. I know you don't hear me. You don't believe me. I'm just a nigga. What do I know? The Trump administration is trying to get African Americans active. And so far, nothing they have done has worked. Now, me thinking out loud, niggas really believe in this system. They believe in democracy. They believe they have rights. They believe in the Constitution. They believe their forefathers, foreparents, the Martin Luther the Kings and the Malcolm X's and people like that. They believe that they did not die in vain. They believe that they fought for a noble and worthy cause, and that they are now free, and they are now integrated and a part of the American society. Voting is a big part of that, and this may be boring to you because you may not quite understand the mindset of African Americans. You have to remember when Obama was elected president, how these niggas acted, how they responded. Is a better way of saying it, right? The way they responded, their response to Obama, they thought they finally made it in America. Voting is a big part of that. So if, like, I'm thinking to myself, if you want a racial war, or you want to at least, if nothing else, get black folk active in the streets marching, take away their right to vote. Even if you're not saying we're taking away your right to vote, put them in a position where they feel like they've lost their right to vote. Having ICE agents out there actively actively racially profiling will get Jake out there in the streets. That's what the Trump administration wanted this whole time. I got this from the Inquisitor. It says Steve Bannon wants ICE at polling booths for midterm elections. If you don't know who Steve Bannon is, he's a former advisor to Trump, and he's still secretly an advisor to Trump. It says Steve Bannon has landed in Salakia. Steve Bannon has landed himself in the hot seat once more. It says this time a recent comment of his about ICE sparked major backlash online. The former White House chief strategist, and I didn't know that he was the former chief strategist, was a key figure in shaping and influencing MAGA. He's also one of the president's most loyal and fervent supporters. It says the political commentator addressed the upcoming polls and included ICE in discussion. It says the federal agency has been under scrutiny for recent fatal shootings in Minneapolis, and these were psyops, by the way. It says which have prompted nationwide protests demanding ICE withdraw from the state. Amid the chaotic backdrop, Bannon made a shocking claim on his podcast. Steve Bannon calls for ICE to surround polling stations to prevent elections from being stolen. Now, that's important because no matter what happens in November with the midterm elections, if the Democrats win, especially if they win both the House and the Senate, the Republicans are going to go crazy because they're going to feel like they were cheated. And if the opposite happens, the Democrats are going to feel like they were cheated. This is a kingdom divided. This house cannot stand. This place is about to come down. And I'm just trying to tell you, when it starts to fall, like when you see the actual fall, 2025 wasn't shit. It was just the lead up to bigger things. You people have no idea what's coming. I keep telling you. When you don't hear from me no more, and you don't hear from these brothers no more, and the shit, this internet shit is over, you know, this whole Hebrew Israelite thing, like, nigga, you better believe they don't plan on allowing this to continue on, man. This whole freedom of speech thing, it's fake, it's false. It's a false reality for you. So it says here, let me get back to it. I'm sorry, Salakia. It says Bannon proposed saying, let's put on Let's put you on notice again. ICE is going to be around the polls in the 2026 midterm elections. Steve Bannon is claiming this. Again, this is one of Trump's top advisors, former advisor, chief strategist he used to be, but he's one of the think tanks for Trump's. He's kind of like a go-between between the elites and Trump. Matter of fact, it just came out that he once interviewed Jeffrey Epstein. See, he's like a buffer, a go-between guy. You know, the elites go to Bannon, tell him what to tell Trump, if you understand what I'm trying to say. The elites tell Bannon what to tell Trump. Same thing with Stephen Miller. I hope that makes sense to you. Let's put you on notice. ICE is going to be around the polls in the 2026 midterm elections. This could spark a civil war in this country. He mentioned this because of his firm belief that the previous election was stolen by Democrats. Now, both sides are saying elections are being stolen. This kingdom is divided. It says technically, ICE was not created for election patrol duties. Its primary role is immigration enforcement, as its name suggests. This raises the question, excuse me, Slakia. This raises the questions of why a federal agency built to handle immigration matters would be involved in election security. It's because, and I'm going to give the answer to that. This is the agency that was chosen by the elites to bring in the what they call the Gestapo, right? We used to talk about UN troops, foreign troops coming into the country. They can do that through ICE. And because they're federal, they can overrule local authority, local police. And they've been given full immunity. This is all happening just in time for 2027, right before it. Right before it. I want to get this in Baruch 4:30. It says, "Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee." And these people will not be comforted in that day. Even these so-called Christians that say they believe in the Lord. And trust me, I know some. I know some people that read the Bible all day, every day, and they do not understand the scriptures. They have no idea. They do not know what they're reading. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoiced at thy fall. Because these curses are being reversed right now as we speak, right now. Esau's kingdom has not fully collapsed yet, and they're already miserable. Already. They're crying. Wait till you see what happens when the shit really hits the fan. It says, miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. Let me get Matthew 24:37. It says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving into marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And we're seeing this right now. And everyone knows this. You'll hear Christians quote this scripture. Yet, they do not understand that they fall into that category. They're eating and drinking and being merry, giving into marriage. They're the ones that think America is going to come back. Matter of fact, my coworker, he's Catholic. He told me one day at work, he said, he reads the Bible and everyone looks at him as he's the Bible guy. He's at work, he reads the Bible and everyone's like, oh man, he's a man of God. They don't even bother him. They don't disturb him. So we got to talking about the scriptures a little bit, because I say, I believe in the Lord. I ain't tell him what I am, what I believe. But I say, yeah, the Bible, we quote a couple of verses here and there. And you know what he told me? He said, my prayer, my daily prayer is that America does not fall. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah is my witness. Sometimes I be feeling like the Lord be trolling me. like the Lord just be like, look, I'm going to have this person say this wild shit to you real quick just to piss you off. But I just said, hey, brother, hey, that's your prayer. That's your prayer. And I left it at that. These people are about to get drowned. Except this time it's going to be fire. That's the flood that's coming this time. Fire. They're going to take the microchip. They're going to get drowned in that fire that's coming with this World War III. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. These people are praying for America. And one of the reasons why my coworker said he wanted to see America survive was because he said if America falls, the whole world will feel it. And I laughed to myself, not in his face, but inwardly. I laughed and I said, yeah, that's kind of like the point, in my spirit. I said, that's kind of like the point. Because Yahweh Shah is going to rule. He's going to be that one that is profitable, that is going to rule. Many crowns he was given, right? Many crowns he will be given. He's going to take down all these kingdoms. And so anyway, we have to endure this for this time period. But I want to jump down. I want to get the 42nd verse. It says, "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doeth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh." And that's what's getting ready to happen to these people. These people are praying for the rising of America. They have that occultic, Egyptology, Egyptian spirit. They believe that the the phoenix, is gonna fall, crash, burn, and then come up as a new bird. But that's not what's about to happen. And I can get deeper into that. The whole New World Order concept is that America is that great eagle that will crash and come back up as a phoenix bird, representing the New World Order. But Yahweh Shai is going to take down all of these kingdoms.